Hello, can you hear me? Am I loud and clear? All right. Go bring in Osofu. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Dela TV. Welcome to Dela TV live on YouTube. Good evening. I greet you once again and welcome to the LAT TV Live. Today we are live on YouTube and not on Facebook. And this is the 12th General Assembly of the Evangelical Presbyterian Church Ghana, taking place at the EP Church Ghana, the La Parish, here at Hokboji. It's starting today, the 13th, up to 16th, Sunday 16th. We'll be having the Thanksgiving service to bring the activities here to a close. There is a lot to really discuss during this General Assembly meeting, and it's happening under the theme, cleanliness is next to godliness. Cleanliness is next to godliness. Keep clean. And in a jiffy, we'll be having the YPO, the Youth Program Officer, here in the studio to have a conversation with him. There is a lot to actually discuss. Like I said, this morning we had the official opening ceremony lined up, great programs lined up for the morning, and we have had a lot of dignitaries here present. And the top of the morning was the address, the welcome address delivered by the moderator of the General Assembly of the EP Church Ghana, the Right Reverend Dr. Lieutenant Colonel Bliss Divine Kofi Agbeko, retired. He is the moderator of the General Assembly of the Evangelical Presbyterian Church Ghana. He delivered about 20 pages of address, and it contains a lot of things. It also served maybe as a wrap to the end of his administration, which comes to a close 31st December 2026, because we are going, one of the major highlights of this General Assembly is the election of a new moderator of General Assembly for the EP Church Ghana. And on Saturday, the 15th of August 2026, we will be having that. This General Assembly is sponsored by a lot of people, a lot of partners are partnering with us or sponsoring the General Assembly. Let me just run you through the list of some of them. We have the Empress Cooperative Credit Union. They are sponsoring us or partnering with us on this General Assembly meeting. We have the Prima Water Trusted Drinking Water. It says, Prima, you respond, let's go. We also have Grace and Bees Enterprise. Grace and Bees Enterprise. We have the LAT TV Extra. We have the Evangelical Presbyterian Health Services. They are also on board this General Assembly meeting. You have the Kekeli Hotel. If you want home away from home, or anytime you visit the Volta region and you want to spend a place that actually looks like home or even better than home, do well to spend a night or two at the Kekeli Hotel, and you would never regret it. We also have on board Nana Tete Kalai III, the Benkumhini of the Central Kofi Traditional Area and Chief of Central Kofi Bogame. He's also partnering with us. We also have LZ and Kabi Morris Memorial Foundation. They are also on board. Last but not least, let me just give you a list of other people who are also partnering. Chances Hotel is on board. We have Vic Charles Hotel, Ellie Maria, Youngview, Tedison, Senna Code, then Sedvis. They are all on board sponsoring the General Assembly. I'll be your host. We'll be having the studio discussions alongside the plenary session happening now. We have just gone by the Policy Drafting Committee, gave their report to the General Assembly, and currently corresponding members and delegates are divided in groups, and they are discussing the policy items for the church, and they'll be doing that in the next 45 minutes. The discussions will continue thereafter before the proceedings for the day will be brought to a close around 6 p.m. and this begins again or continues tomorrow. Like I said earlier, there's a lot to talk about from the moderator's 20-page report or address to the General Assembly, and I'll be here doing the studio discussions with people who will be passing through. I'm the Reverend Gijo Nathaniel Achu Afram. Let me just quickly run you through some of the things that the moderator of General Assembly spoke about. The first he spoke about is a promotion of Christian love, spirituality, discipline, and ethical behavior. He spoke about the national evangelization mission, and that is to create and own congregations that are multi-ethnic. This serves as a wrap of his whole administration, so we'll be giving you the details as we go along. Again, he spoke about direct the church to a new level of postmodern ministry by revising and reforming certain aspects of worship to fit postmodern trends. He spoke about promoting the use of molding technology to reach out to all people in and out of the church. He touched on pursuing financial liberation by investing in viable economic activities to boost the church's financial resources. He says, we have had resourceful ways of raising funds for ministry that are not solely dependent on goodwill, voluntary money offerings, but money earned from investment gains. The moderator further touched on developing an up-to-date database that captures the personal details of every member of the church, address location, occupation, and capabilities to make for easier church management and outreach to members. He also touched on the quest to empower various ministry wings, especially the children and youth, to do more, as well as devising a model to bridge the generational gap between the youth and other adult wings in the church. I would continue with the rest of the thing, but this is where I pause, and I'll be having a discussion with the youth program officer of the church, because this particular thing that the moderator spoke about falls directly on his laps. So I'll do well to just read through, so those of you who were not with us during the delivering of the address by the moderator will have the opportunity to also listen to what is contained in that aspect of the report or the address that was. So I read now, and thereafter I'll come to the Reverend Courage Pamka, who is the youth program officer, so that we'll digest that a bit and also go into the youth policy of the church. So this is what the moderator said in the morning. I'm reading verbatim just as it is delivered, or it was delivered to the 12th General Assembly. He said, "Beloved in Christ, over the years, it has been the practice of our church to confirm teenagers from the children's ministry, that's the Sunday school, and immediately transition them into the adult worship service. Sadly, many of these youth or young ones often struggle to fit in, and over time they lose interest in our way of worship, developing negative perceptions of our church. When they eventually gain some freedom, such as moving to the university campuses, they drift away seeking belonging to other churches. This reality compelled me to call for the development of a deliberate model to bridge the generational gap between our youth and the adult wings of the church. For the future of our ministry depends on how well we nurture, empower, and integrate our younger generations into the life of the church. Indeed, Scripture reminds us, quote, one generation shall commend your works to another and shall declare your mighty acts. That's Psalm 145 verse 5. It is therefore our sacred duty to ensure that the faith is faithfully handed down from generation to generation. Empowering the ministry wings, particularly the children's youth ministry, is essential to raising committed Christians and future leaders. Through intentional discipleship, leadership development, adequate resources, and meaningful opportunities for service, the church can strengthen participation and enhance ministry effectively. At the same time, fostering collaboration, mentorship, and shared programs between youth and adult ministries to bridge the generational divide, promote unity, facilitate the transfer of faith and values, and ensure that our church remains vibrant, relevant, and well positioned for sustainable growth. I'm happy to report that the generational group concept is generally or currently being piloted at the Whole East Presbytery, where young ones are nurtured progressively through generational stages, moving from children's ministry, the junior youth, the youth, and then the young adults fellowship. This initiative has also been prioritized as a key performance indicator within our 5-year strategic plan. Furthermore, our reviewed youth policy, now under consideration, has incorporated the generational group framework to provide clear modalities for nurturing members at every stage of their growth. I urge my successor and all of us gathered here to take this initiative seriously and place it on the front burner of all our collective agenda. Let us see it not merely as a program, but as a sacred duty to ensure that our youth feel truly at home in the church, and that the Evangelical Presbyterian Church Ghana continues to flourish in unity, vitality, and faithfulness to Christ across generation. This is what the moderator said as far as the youth policy, and indeed the bridging the gap between the generational groups is concerned. I now have in the studios the youth program officer of the church, Reverend Courage Pamka. Okay, he'll be here for us to do the discussions. But before we come to him, let us go over some of the other areas, that we have, and I'll soon come to him for the discussions. So other things he spoke about, the moderator spoke about. Let me see the question. All right. Thereafter, I spoke on the call to retrieve and document all property of the church and improve upon the existing retreat centers for spiritual and physical development. The moderator further touched on activities during the 175th anniversary celebration of the church. He gave a rundown of some of the activities. He came to integrity, mission and evangelism. He also spoke about the new presbyteries that were started. Spoke about the purchase, or no, not the purchase, the donation of a vehicle by the President of the Republic of Ghana to the church. He came to finance the Nyanywepe or the NP, debt servicing, ecumenical subscriptions, local debts. Then under projects, he named specifically the Moderator of General Assembly's official residence renovation and restoration. Then he came to the 175th Conference Center, the water project at Chito, translation of our hymns, the church cloth, the church constitution, rebranding of headquarters signpost. He spoke about the customized Bibles, and then he further or finally announced to commissioners and delegates the rest of the discussions at the General Assembly, and they include fraternal greetings, the receipt of reports, the discussion of the finances of the church. They would further touch on constitutional matters, formulation of policies where necessary, speak about some disciplinary matters, and finally, the election of the new moderator of the General Assembly of the EP Church, Ghana. Let us now move and have this conversation with the YPO, the Youth Program Officer of the church, Reverend Courage Pamka. Also, you're welcome.
Well, thank you so much.
All right. How is the desk doing?
Wonderful.
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 All right. So far, how far? Is it easy managing the desk? How would you put it? Easy, not easy, not easy at all?
If I should scale it, then Moses would have to be here.
Okay.
Because Moses leading the people of Israel, he would be the one to scale.
Okay.
But I believe that leading people is not to domineer over them.
Yeah.
But so far, so good. With the system that we are creating and we having people together, it's comfortable to lead. And
all right.
We hope that we get into the place we want all to have it. Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, Asofo. And I welcome you again to the LAT TV studios. We want to have a conversation specifically today, not on the desk, and maybe I will have you some other time. So we go into the operations of the desk and all that. But today we want to look at what the moderator of the General Assembly said as far as bridging the gap between the adult ministry and the children ministry is concerned. That's what we want to look at. All right. So what is this all about? I hear the junior youth, the young adults fellowship and all that. Somebody will ask, what animals are these?
Even if they are animals, they are good animals.
They are good animals, of course.
So as we have it in our church, the current state of our church, we grow our church by ministries. And currently, in every church, whether a big church or a small church, we have children, we have young people, and we have adults. And our church has been running over this program for some time now, that we've come to notice that there is a chunk or a larger portion of our young people or those growing from Sunday school to the adult ministry who are missing out in action. So currently that's the problem I think and I believe we are trying to fix, where we have people who are moving from Sunday school not knowing where to join when they come to the adult ministry. We have those who are also young people who have gotten to a stage in life where they feel they are still young. They also know that they are part of the adults, but you don't know where they are necessarily in the church. So if they don't find their part in the church, they leave. So the whole of the concept of the generational fellowship is to help solve this problem, this major problem in the church. And so the junior youth, the young adults, it's not a new animal we are bringing into the system. It's already existing, but we want to redefine it properly so that we have our generational groups and then the ministries flourishing from the children ministry to the adult ministry in the EP church.
All right. Also, thank you. But let's focus on each of these generational groups that you talk about. So henceforth, who are those going to be in the children's ministry? When we talk about children's ministry, is it different from the rest? And if yes, who are those going to be here, and who would be in the others as they progress?
That's fine. So with the new or the updated youth policy or the young people's policy that is being promulgated, I believe that it brings clarity into these groups.
Okay.
I want to focus the whole policy on this acronym GOD. GOD.
Okay.
So governance, organization, and development. GOD. And in governance, that is where the structures of the various 4-tier levels of our church would have well-defined structures. So when it comes to the national level, we have a proper defined national governing body of the entire youth of the church. When we come to the presbytery, and then the organizing aspect of the church is where the fellowshipping and then the generational group will come in with the development. And so we are saying that if anybody comes to the EP church and the person is below the age of 12, so from 0 to 13, 0 to 12 years, they are in the children ministry. So that's where we groom them. We call it Sunday school. We groom them, give them the basic doctrinal teachings of the church, our reformed tradition and stuff. Now, when they move from 12 years to the teen ages, the 13 years to 17, normally some feel that they should join the adult ministry. Some also feel that I'm too big for a children ministry, and with that, we lose some of them. So we are saying that this would be the junior youth, where we groom them in our confirmation. So that will be a stage where confirmation lessons will be taken seriously. And hopefully, if we should implement this, it means that right from Sunday school, the next part of ministry we are going to go to will be junior youth.
Okay.
Where you'll be taught the EP Church, the Reformed doctrine, Christ himself, and then the doctrines of Christ. Okay. When we form them in that aspect, then they can now have the grounding to join the adult church, where we have the youth ministry, and then the young adults already flourishing. So from the junior youth, where you are grounded, having your confirmation, when you get confirmed, automatically you join. And when you move into the church, there are groups. We will not discuss that now.
Before we even get to that, let's backtrack a bit. So when you are from age 0 to 13, you would still be at the children's ministry. Okay, there used to be the case where they would all go, most of the places, that's how they operate. They go, the fellowship together, all of them. Then after the initial praises and all that, they divide them into groups. Exactly. Are they still, is the children ministry still going to have that? Yes. Or this time it's going to be from 1 to 13 and they are the only ones there?
We are still going to have, we are not going to change from the old status quo.
Okay.
So when they go, because they are also regarded as teen children at that time, they join the children ministry to fellowship, and then after the first preamble, they separate them into their classes. And we would have teachers who are grounded and well taught to now lead them through the confirmation, the reformed tradition learning. So it would just be a class, not necessarily they should get a whole chapel on their own, but a class of the Sunday school that will be training.
Okay, so more or less it's going to be the same operation we have now.
The same operation,
but just that they now have the name. What's the
junior
name?
Youth.
Junior youth,
and more focus on their development.
Okay. So 0 to 13 children's ministry, they will still fellowship with the junior youth, but after the initial preliminaries, they bring into their groups. Okay, then the other ones will move. Then we'll have the children's ministry also here. Okay. Then so it is at the junior youth meeting that they would be taught on confirmation. So that's more or less a confirmation class.
Yes.
All right.
So that we can catch them also younger.
Okay.
Because sometimes we do lose some to the university tertiary. They are not confirmed, and by the time we realize they are out.
Okay.
But if we are able to intentionally do this at that level, it means automatically, before they even get to senior high, tertiary, we know our own.
Okay. You are still live on the LAT TV on YouTube today and not on Facebook. We have some challenges with the Facebook, so please, if you get the link, just share with other people and let them know today we are solely on YouTube. This is the 12th General Assembly of the Evangelical Presbyterian Church Ghana. On the theme, cleanliness is next to godliness. Keep clean, happening here at the Dela Parish here in Ho. Starting today, the Thursday, the 13th of August 2026, and we'll be here till Sunday, the 16th of August 2026. We are having a conversation now with the YPO, or the Youth Program Officer of the Evangelical Presbyterian Church Ghana, the Reverend Courage Pamka. He's here, and we're having a conversation on the new. We'll be getting into the details of the new youth policy anyway, but for now, we are just talking about the generational groups. Also, so still, let's go back. what is the major problem that this new generational groups is supposed to cure?
So,
You mentioned it in passing that
in passing.
let's spend some time there, then we'll come back to the groups.
Currently in our church, we do have groups that do sometimes help grow our people. But then we realize that when it comes to ministry wise, when we are focusing on ministry, we do have some lacunas, some loopholes where we lose our members, especially between jumping from the Sunday school to the adult church. And then also when people also go to the adult church, they don't want to join the groups. And I think we have a group called Sofuvio.
Yes.
They are not a group, but now they are intentionally becoming a group. And if we don't find a place for these ones, automatically we lose them if we don't have interest.
Okay.
Secondly, thirdly, we have younger people who are also growing, who are above 30 years, 35. They will not want to join the men fellowship because they feel they are still young. Hitherto, they don't also want to join the youth because they feel. So at that point, if we don't intentionally know how to keep them, we lose them. And so yes, we have groups, but I can say that our groups have not solved all of our problems. So we need to bring in some of these structures, ministerial wise, to help solve and then cater for these ones, so that we don't lose them.
Okay. So the children's ministry is from 1 to 13.
From zero.
From 0 to 13. Okay.
My wife gave birth recently.
Yeah.
And
Congratulations.
when they baptized the child, they said automatically he's a member.
Member of the children's
now
ministry.
from 0 years to
13 years,
yes.
they will belong to the children's ministry.
ministry.
Then the junior youth will be from 13 to
17.
17. Okay.
13 to 17.
Okay. So 13 to 17 will still be fellowshipping with the children ministry. After the prelims, they move. I just want that to be clear. Then they go into their own class where they do a lot of the confirmation stuff. All right. So we've spoken about that. Now let's go to the youth.
So the youth ministry will span between 18 years to 35.
Okay.
I know there are a lot of definitions for who a youth is, who WHO and other, but in our policy we want to focus on 18 to 35. And already we've always been talking about youth. But then I'm looking at more of young evangelical Presbyterian. That one should cover from junior youth to the young adults. So in the youth ministry, as we know already what the youth ministry is supposed to entail, we want to intentionally groom them in their youthful time to serve the Lord. And then from that point where they move from 18 to 35, after 35, from 36, now we regard them as young adults. They are not necessarily youth again. Some don't feel they are adults, they are in between.
But 35, they are adults. Why young adults? 35 up. I mean, they are. In fact, some do even have grandchildren by then. And you're calling them young adults?
Some of you are 40 and they do have. Yes, exactly. So when we use the ecumenical demarcations or clarifications for youth, we will not be able to call them youth ecumenically. So when we go for meetings in our ecumenical bodies, normally they give age standards.
Okay.
And if somebody is 40 years old and goes there, they don't see that person as a youth. So just to also put them in a very youthful gauge that yes, you are no more youth. Yes, you don't feel like you are adult, but you are still vibrant as a youth. Some will say young professionals. When we were doing this policy, people were arguing that we should rather keep them young professionals, but it's a church. It's not a business organization. So for these ones, ecumenically and per the clarification of youth, their age takes them out of that range. And so for us to also cater for them, and we say, okay, young adults would be the right and appropriate naming to give them.
Okay, I've heard children's ministry, I've heard the youth, junior youth, I've heard the youth, I've heard the young adults. Then where is the young evangelical Presbyterians? Where does it fall in this?
So the young evangelical covers everybody.
Okay.
Because if I should say youth, and we should go to the policy, it means you are talking to those who are 18 to 35. But then they are junior youth, they are young adults. So young people, young covers anyone who is young.
Okay.
So 13 to 45, I believe is young.
Yeah.
So they cover all the programs, as I said, governance, operation, and then development of the young people.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, Yusufu. The moderator said in his address that this concept is currently being piloted at the whole East Presbytery. Is this the only place they're having this now?
So with every policy, there should be some level of testing. And at our last year, during our General Assembly Executive Council meeting, for them to test the viability of this concept, we had to agree. The council agreed that we would even select 6 congregations out of the place. So it's not the full, it's not the who is completely.
Okay.
It is 6 congregations out of who is who would table this to their congregation, test it in their congregation, see its viability, and see how people will respond to this concept. Will respond to this concept, and just like we have in experimentation, we have a control. So East Presbytery was serving as a control to see how the response will be. Then from there, when the policy comes in, it will help us implement it appropriately and correctly.
Okay. So when did this start in the whole East Presbytery?
It started last year, 2025.
Okay. How is it going so far?
I wouldn't say it is 100% accepted. There are some few challenges. As I said already, groups are also in our churches that are catering for some needs of our members. So this appears to be new to some people, and they feel maybe it is going to be a different group on its own. But after some time, we are able to intentionally now have all the junior youth meet together and we talk to them. Okay. We are intentionally able to have all the youth come together, and the young adults are able to have them. So if you're able to have these ones together, it helps with the ministry push. And I think out of the 6, the 5 that were able to implement it properly, I've seen some changes.
Okay.
Yes, and I'm hoping that from this result and then the policy promulgated, we can implement it nationwide and also see a bigger picture of what we want to achieve.
Okay, so what are the timelines you are looking at? So how many years or months are you looking at the pilots, and then when will it be rolled out nationally or internationally?
So the policy is also in the strategic plan.
Okay.
So the church, as we have it now, is undergoing a strategic phase, which is beginning this year, 2026 to 2030. So as part of the policy also implemented through the strategic plan, we are also beginning implementation this year. Hopefully, even though we are half of the year done, but it will be done right after the General Assembly.
Okay.
Then from here, by 2028, we'll have a mid-year, mid-term review of what has happened. And hopefully, if we are able to cross 2030 or get 2030, then we can now have an overview of what has resulted in the implementation. Then from there, we have another 5 years to now make it stronger.
All right. Yeah. Thank you, Osofo. Again, let me just remind you, this is Dela TV Live on on YouTube. Today we are not on Facebook, and we are having a conversation with the YPO of the church, Reverend Courage Pamuka. We're having a conversation on the new structure for the youth ministry of the church, that's the Young Evangelical Presbyterians, and we're having this at the 12th General Assembly of the EP Church Ghana happening here at Ho, the Dela Parish. We are starting today and it will end on the 16th. So we just want to look at the new things that are contained in the youth policy of the church before we get to other activities happening here. Now, as we speak, the session or the plenary session has broken into groups. I don't know how many groups in all, about 8 groups in all. They are discussing the reports from the policy drafting committee, after which they would come back, draw some conclusions before the proceedings will be brought to a close somewhere around 6 p.m. Also, let me ask again. There has been this issue about youth, so now Young Evangelical Presbyterians and the groups. So when you get to our congregations, for instance, they tell you, come to the youth ministry. Oh, I'm already a member of the CYB. Come to this one. Oh, I'm already a member of this. How would this solve such problems in our congregations?
Okay. Thank you very much, Joseph. So, per our workings, in the Presbyterian setting, one man does not work alone. And we all work in committees, we all work in groups to help fulfill a mandate that we all want to see being achieved. Already, the groups that we have in our church are 3: CYB, the Christian Youth Builders, the Evangelical Presbyterian Students Union, and then the National Brigade, or the Brigade, which is more of interdenominational.
When you say groups we have in our church, you mean the youth
groups
that we have?
The youth groups that we have in our church. So for the Brigade, it's interdenominational. And per even their policy, they have age limits to those who can join the brigade. Yes. So similarly, in the EPSU policy too, we have age limits. I think if somebody is 35 years, you cease to be a member
Okay.
of EPSU, and then you become, I think, an auxiliary member or something.
Okay.
But then, I think the focus of these groups was to address an issue in our church. For example, the Students' Union, the name clearly defines what policy we want to achieve. If you go to our campuses, if you go to our tertiary education institutions, and not only tertiary education, those doing vocational education, so it's not only the school, those who are doing apprenticeship, they are all students. And I believe that in 1992, 1993, when this came up, it was supposed to help solve the issue of our drifting away of our members from campus. And so this one came in, and then it became a group. The older one is the CYB, which was started way in the 1960s, thereabout, when people were working before Reverend Ayas Chakan came in to also continue the work. But most of the history was started from that point. But for them at that time, it was the Sohel or the Kakiople, the Tibiope Habobo, which is just in English youth. But as we speak today, we may not clearly say that they are all youth, because some are even 60, some are even 50. So the focus was actually on the youth and grooming them. And so they've also grown to become a very good profiting group for the church, but then we need to streamline it to fit into what we want to achieve, where we see the young people groom. So in the policy, we have the generational group, which is the ministry. They're not going to be a group to compete with the youth groups available. It's a ministry, and so everybody who is in that age bracket comes in from ministry. So for example, I want to organize a program for all the things in my church. If I say all the things are meeting, junior are meeting, you know that these are the ones. Similarly, if somebody wants to join the CYB group and then also share in that fellowship and then work with it, nothing prohibits a person from joining. From 13 years to 45 years, they can be in CYB. From 13 years to 35 years, if they are enrolled as a student in an institution, they are in EPSU automatically. And even if they come back home, they are still students, but then the focus is that we want to intentionally groom them in the ministries, so that when they move from the Sunday school, they know where they are going to. Actually, confusion will bring a lot of breakaways. So when they know where they are going to, then they can flow through. But then the youth groups are also there to help the grooming. So anybody who is between the age of 13 to 45 can be in CYD. Either to they have membership cards, they have projects they do, they have programs that they do. So it's all complementing the bigger picture. And all these groups are still under the youth decks to operate. So we, I know there are little contentions here and there, but the ministry groups are not coming to take away the youth groups. They are actually coming to amplify their works so that we can see the young people engaged properly to do the work of God in the church.
All right. What would you say to people who say, or who would say this is copy? This young adults thing. And the rest.
I learned. Okay, I've forgotten the proverb, but it's the Chinese. The Chinese are the ones who do it.
I appreciate to see it in
Chinese. Yes.
Okay.
So he said it's good to copy if it is right.
Okay.
It's good, but then actually it is not copying. If we should say it's copying from the PCG, we are sister organizations, and if we are all Presbyterians, then we should all move the Presbyterian status quo. I believe that the synodal system came, we all joined to move by it. Then now we are in the General Assembly system, and I will not say they are doing much better than us, but at least we can see that they are putting the system of the GA in place. However, we also have to learn and see what others are doing. Then the good ones we take, the bad ones we shun, to groom your church. And for us to solve that problem of that drifting away, that is where we are bringing this into. So we are copying not to become copycats, but we are copying to learn, to grow, and to develop our own.
Okay, so I understand that then what you've just said tells me you have really studied the Presbyterian system well. The young adults in the Presbyterian system, I hear, they have their own fellowships, so they don't come to the adult services. Like they have their own place to worship, they lead their own services. Maybe once in a while they bring in the adults to lead them. Are we going to have that? Because I didn't hear you say that. They said they'll be with the adult service, but they are still young adults and all that.
Exactly.
How is always going to be?
One of the major implications we would have with this is with structure.
Okay.
Now, if we should consider the PCG, for example, I wouldn't say all of the congregations in the PCG have all the young adults separated from the general worship.
Okay.
I have visited few, and mostly they join the few I visited, they join the Sunday fellowship together, and during the course of the week, they have fellowship gatherings where the young adults come for ministerial purposes.
Okay.
Yes, there are other places where during the service they separate into their ministries and they go to have service and they come back. So I believe that it's more of infrastructure's availability.
Okay.
I was shocked, and I'm saying this it's no new news, but I'm shocked. I went for a service in a global church in Tema. I went for a service in global church in Tema, and I was shocked that at the point of service they announced these demarcations. My shock was that the global evangelical church is just let me say a child of the EP church, and for them to quickly adopt this is for them to quickly see the need to now get the young people intentionally mentored. Okay. So when I went to the church, it was a normal Sunday service. They were having their Sunday meetings, and then at a point in the service, they said the pastor announced all junior youths, you are going here. You are going to have some time with this leader. All the youths, they are going here. And to my shock, they mentioned young adults. So if per adventure we do ours before we start hearing this, we can't call them copy.
Yeah.
So I believe that if the infrastructures are available, we can even have fellowship one day with a separation, and after we have a joint service. But the main goal is that we have these set of young people in their age limit, mentored together, groomed together, and administered to together. I think that should be the focus. So just like we would have issues in some of the churches where they can't have rooms for Sunday schools because they have just one place of worship, and to be difficult to have the junior youth or the separation into classes, we can still engage this policy, get them to do it in the course of the week. It's still a ministry.
Okay.
And then during the Sunday, we have a joint service where everybody come together to worship God.
All right.
And also, I believe that per the environmental conditions or societal conditions of the congregation, they can also look at this policy and then skew it to favor what they have.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Also for Akbe, Miawela Doji.
Yes.
The new, I have seen, just today, I've seen the new youth policy of our church. When is this supposed to take effect? When do we start using, or it started already?
So, as we said, we had a committee working on it. After the committee's work, it was forwarded to the policy drafting committee to look at it and review it well.
Okay.
And then today, by the grace of God, it is being discussed at the workshop at the GA.
Okay.
After that, it will be brought to the GA and be passed.
All right.
At the moment it is passed, we just can't quickly jump and then spread it.
Yeah.
We will need to put it into print and get it open, and then we'll officially launch it for the entire church, and then we would have our people do it. But per the Presbyterian format, the moment it is passed at GA, it is an active document.
Of course.
So so if it is passed today, implementation begins tomorrow.
Okay.
So yes,
then let's get into it, and maybe we'll not have time enough to talk about the whole policy as and move page by page, but maybe I should just talk about the structure. Let's talk about the structure, the new structure of the youth policy, as we would have it after the GA confirms maybe or decides that we start using it as a church. What is the new structure of the youth ministry?
So the new structure of the young people's ministry is that at the national level, we would have the youth assembly.
Okay.
Just like for the whole church, we have the general assembly where matters of the church are discussed properly. We also want to have an assembly where the issues of young people are discussed properly.
And it will be called the National Youth Assembly. That's YEPA.
YEPA.
Okay.
For
so young Evangelical Presbyterians Assembly, something like that. All right.
But then hopefully by the end of today's workshop and GA's approval, we would have the proper name.
Okay.
You know, sometimes nomenclature confuses when we have structures that have the names already.
Yeah.
So for maybe council, the assembly, they might tell us to change it because we have a general assembly.
All right.
But then the motive is that we have youth coming from presbyteries, just like delegates coming from every presbytery. So we have the YPO who is chairing. We have the presbytery bringing delegates. We have the groups, the youth group, CYB, EPSO, brigade bringing in delegates. When we now sit together to form this assembly to look at the entire issues and then the work of the youth in the church.
Okay.
Yes. And then from there, we'll come to the presbytery.
Mm-hmm.
So after the assembly, we would
Yeah.
have those who would be making sure that the things we discuss and is implemented. Just like we have General Assembly Executive Council, then we should have a youth national council. That will be making sure that the decisions of the assembly, the youth assembly, is implemented.
Okay.
Yes. I've gotten some few objections where people feel that we will be having the national executives again, and hitherto competing with CYB and then the FC. Just like we have the GAEC, where delegates are appointed into various offices and committees in the assembly, we would also do same.
Okay.
So just like that, when we have all the youth, the young people coming together, we appoint. So maybe, for example, Upper Northern Presbytery President can be appointed at the time of tenure to serve as the vice chair.
Okay.
So he's still operating as the president, but he's serving as the vice chair to make sure that everything. Then the organizer for maybe the who is Presbytery might serve as a national organizer. So we are not shifting the portfolios and giving them one, but we are bringing all together, and then we work together. So from there, then if we now make the decisions, the presbyteries will be the one to take it up. And for who is presbytery, it has been implemented already because it was a test. We have the presbytery council, where we have the presbytery executives, we have the presbytery youth groups, CYB, EPSO, delegates on the council, and then they discuss issues pertaining the presbytery and the national. Then it will go down to the district, where we have the district executive or the district council, just like we have the session.
Yeah.
So the name will be session or any such Presbyterian name that will be given to it. Right after the policy is given out, we would have the real one. Then from there we go to the local. So at the grassroots, where we have the local executives working, you realize that sometimes we have some apathy between the local executive and them. So we have a local session.
Okay.
Just like we have the local session. But to be the local youth session, where the executives in the local work with the CYB, work with the EPS, work with the brigade to make sure that the issues of the national presbytery districts are implemented. So that will be the 4th-year level structure of the of the youth, of the young people's ministry.
All right. Like I said, we may not be able to have time enough to go into the whole youth policy because it's quite a huge document. But after our discussions today, maybe when it comes to you at your local, you'll be able to sit around the table and discuss them better. Maybe I should take 2 more things, then I can let you go. I asked one earlier, but the EPSO and its issue is been on the table for a very long time now. Should it be restricted to only the campuses? Should we have them in the congregations? It is true that there are apprentices in our and a whole lot.
Yeah.
What has become of that in the new policy? Is there anything? Has anything changed?
So in the new policy, we are willing to focus more on our campuses too.
Okay.
Let me give an example. It is not going to be a wonderful thing to hear if we should have EPSO. We are in Hokoji today, so we have EPSO in Hokoji. I don't have EPSO in HTU.
Okay.
Whereas our members who are in Hokoji, when they go to campus HTU, they should also come together as EP members to fellowship. But it will be sad to hear that we have EPSO in Hokoji and we don't have EPSO
At HTU.
at HTU.
Yeah.
Then what will be the essence of a students' union? And so we are saying that we want to see more of the activities of the scripture union, of the students' union on the campuses. So in the new strategic plan policy, it has mandated every district to take up a campus. So if Hokoji is here, we have HTU. they are supposed to help facilitate the operations of EPSO. That's an example I'm giving. So in a strategic plan, that's what it's supposed to do. And when we have that, and we see that there's now going to be like an absorption. So EPSO is not out of the congregation. EPSO is in the congregation, but then the focus is on the campuses. Either when they come back home, and we need to see the activities in the ministry groups, they should be seen, and not say, "Oh, I'm in EPSO, I'm not in." Because yes, people say they are in EPSO and not in these groups, just trying to show themselves from the general youth work. But when it comes to the congregation, we want to see all of the young people working together. We don't want to have any segregation in the groups. But when we want to focus on our people on campuses, then the tool or the vehicle we can use most effectively will be our EPSO.
But also, it's not really clear. So, is there anything in the youth policy as to EPSO should be maybe confined to only the campuses? Because your answer doesn't give me that feeling. What you said is fine. The congregation closer to the campus should see to the operations, maybe see to the effective operations of the students group on the campus. What about the congregation?
So
should they still be there?
In the congregation, we don't have EPSO in all of the congregations in the country.
Yeah, we don't.
So in our congregations where we don't have EPSO, the youth ministry project is the one to run.
Okay.
In the congregations where we have EPSO already existing, we can work together to see to it that it's a strategic plan for 5 years.
Yeah.
See to it that how we can make sure they are able to move little by little so that we can concentrate on the campuses.
Okay.
But I can't say they should stay or not stay based on what we want to do with the strategic plan and the youth policy.
So it is not captured clearly
it is
whether it should be there or not be there.
It is captured as EP Student Union as a campus-based fellowship.
Okay.
Yes, but already, as I said, we already had these groups helping move the youth agenda in some of the congregations.
All right.
But we just can't go and say break at once.
Yeah.
We have to move and then operate together until we all have that one map. And then after the 5 years, we know that okay, this is this and this is that.
All right. If you're watching us on YouTube, I would appreciate if you just tell us where you're watching us from, and if you have any question, any follow-up question at all, you want to ask the youth program officer, he's here with us, and this is an opportunity to ask him all the questions you have as far as the new youth policy or the youth ministry of the church is concerned. So just type that in the chat box and I'll read that to him and he would answer before we leave the studios. So maybe my last question to you before you leave: what is the structure of the brigade? We don't seem to have so many brigade groups in the church, apart from Hokboji and maybe Bankwe. Yeah,
even Hokboji is still a problem.
Yes. I mean, I actually meant Bankwe.
Yeah.
Bankwe. Then maybe Tema. Is it community level?
Tema, yeah, community level.
I think we have one.
Pessimentum is also on the rock.
Exactly. So how is it like? Is it a group that we should start encouraging to grow in other congregations, or just leave it at it?
Yes. Also, thank you very much. I think this is one of my heartbeats. Last year, most of our work was centered around the brigade.
Okay.
And last year, we were able to form a national coordinating committee to see to the brigade issues in our church and see how we can revamp it. The truth is that in the years past, brigade was strong in our church.
Okay.
But we had a lot of challenges with, some church administration and other leaders of the church, not at the headquarters level, at the other, who were not really understanding the concept of the brigade and were not so much in support of the things they do. And today, it has resulted in most of our companies breaking down, which is a sad thing. I earlier mentioned that brigade is interdenominational. And so the people who say they don't have to say Orthodox, but the Orthodox, Methodist, Presby, EP, AME Zion, Anglican, we all work together in the brigade.
Okay.
And so it even affords us that ecumenical relationship with the other groups. Yes, the brigade, I wish, would revamp today and really have every congregation having a brigade. Yeah. That would be one of my deepest prayers answered. Yes, so the National Coordinating Committee has been assigned to look at how best we can position the church to get the brigade being formed in other, and those that have not been formed to be strengthened. And as we have it now, Bankwe is very strong. and we are hoping that Opoju will come back again. I was very sad when I went to the Central Western Presbytery. I went to one church who were very strong in the brigade, but today the instruments, the band is there, the uniforms are there, and there are no ones to wear them. Okay. And so, since it's interdenominational, it even cut across the EP church. And I want our people to understand that the brigade is also part of us. And it's also a group that also help link the Sunday school to the youth ministry, the young people's ministry, because the brigade grooms even children as low as 2 years old. So it grooms them from that time. So they are about 17, and then they move to become officers. And I think I was once a brigade member, but in the Methodist church. Because I loved, but I was an EP member. I joined the Methodist church brigade. It's for the discipline.
I wanted to ask that before you even continue. When you say it is interdenominational, what is your definition in this context of interdenominational? Does that mean a member of the Methodist, a member of the Presby can come together to form brigade in a congregation like Ukuji? Is that what you mean? Or you mean it exists in all other groups, all other congregations?
First, it exists in the congregation and the organization I mentioned, Methodist, and then also they work together. So, for example, if Methodist Church in Votary in Ho does not have a brigade company, and Hopoji is having a brigade company, all those who are in the Methodist Church,
they are called companies.
They are companies. Okay. So, Banque company, yes. So all those in the Methodist Church who are interested to become officers are joined to the Hopoji company and groomed together. And you realize that in any program, if Methodist needs the brigade, they call the Hopoji company. If Presby needs the brigade, similarly, I remember last 2 years when we went to Tamale for our General Assembly, the brigade we brought, some were Methodist, some were Presbyterian. It was a company. So when we met a company, we called the children from the various places, brought them together, and it becomes one company. That's what we call the interdenominational.
All right.
Yeah.
So what else are you doing? You said it would be one of your prayers answered. What else are you doing to see that prayer answered?
So as I said, first we formed the National Coordinating Council that report directly to the DEX. And secondly, we are looking at going to the places where once they existed and see if we can revamp them. One of the major constraints is finance.
Yeah, I wanted to ask that.
Yes, one of the major complaints is finance.
Why? So, is it because of their uniforms, the drums, and all that?
I think with every group comes some financial demand. The uniform, the drums, the children cannot afford to pay. It will be the church or the congregation that will cater for them. And sometimes, when they come to apply for a fund, there's no funds.
The Gamaliel syndrome.
A Gamaliel syndrome, yes. And so we are working tirelessly to have a brigade week celebrated in the church. Just like the National Brigade celebrated a brigade week across the various denominations, we want to also celebrate it in our church. Hopefully, we pray that by the fourth quarter, the brigade week is normally in November. So we are hoping that it will be the first of its kind. We have the brigade week celebrated in the church. And I think it's also the evangelism month of the EP church. So we can also, put that together. So if we celebrate this week, then hopefully some funds can be generated at the local congregation now to get our people what the materials they will need. And so from there, then we have the monitoring and then the evaluation of the committee in the local congregation.
So if maybe a representative of a congregation is watching now, says it is not really, finance is not a problem, we just want to start it, what should they do?
So currently, if finance is not available, I think the first place to go is the local session.
No, they have. So they just want to start it. How do they start?
Okay, so if they want to just start it now, they can get in contact with the youth desk and we direct them to the national coordinating team. The one chairing the committee is our own Reverend Mark Tutu. He was once a brigade officer, and I read and I've heard that he was part of the founding fathers in the Tema company, and so he's the one chairing. So if they would want to start it, if they can't get directly to me, they can get in touch with Reverend Maktutu. They can also get in touch with Reverend Innocent Atipu, Major. He is also a stout brigade officer. He's even into training our officers. And so they can get in touch with them and then they can begin. We made sure that the committee members were cut across the presbyteries. So we have some in the Upper Northern, we have some at the Meridians, West Volta, we have some at the east, west, so that we cut across at least these regions. And so any congregation that is ready to start a company, just get in touch with the youth desk, get in touch with any of these committee members I've mentioned, and we will rush to the place to make sure it begins.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Osofo Courage Pamka, for coming. What would be your last words to listeners before you go, Osofo?
That's a lot. I have a whole book to say. Anyway, but thanks to the NAT TV for the good work they are doing. Thanks to you also for the good work you are doing. The time for us to change, the time for us to grow the church is now. We've been saying that the youth are the future of the church. For my vision, it's not true. The youth is the church today. And so if you want to develop the church, now is the time to pick the call to develop the church. And so last year, 2020, that was last 2 years, 2024, we had a first meeting where we invited delegates from various presbyteries to come. And at that meeting, we all agreed to now have a slogan for the ministry.
Okay.
So when the young people of the ministry, the church gather together, we will have a slogan. And the slogan is youth, we say arise and shine. And then youth shine in darkness. And it's linked to our church's motto, bringing light to where there is darkness. So when we say youth, we say arise and shine. And youth, we shine in darkness. And that is the vision we have for the whole.
So let's try. So youth,
arise and shine.
Youth,
shine in darkness.
Okay, so let's take it to the heavenly language.
So Sohel cho nakle.
Okay.
Sohel cho Sohel clearly legitimate. Okay. So Sohel cho nakle.
Sohel
clearly legitimate.
All right.
Then the tree too. Mebuno mon sorry na mon shrine. Imebuno mon shrine we sumu.
All right. That's
so
good.
That will be our.
I like this because there is a whole lot of confusion as to when I say youth, what should they say? Every district and their own response. Yes. Okay, thank you.
Yes, so that will be our slogan. Okay. We will test it for the next 30 years.
Yeah.
And as part of the last comment to this slogan, the company realized that in some places we need fire.
Okay.
And so the last one is not used a lot, but when they say youth, the third time we shout fire.
Fire. Oh, okay. Let's try that. Let's try it. Youth.
Arise and shine.
Youth.
Shine in darkness.
Youth. Fire.
Yes. So just to bring the fire to where there is darkness.
All right.
And so that is our whole vision for the young people's ministry. That we arise and we shine. And we don't shine where there is already light. We go to shine where there is darkness. And I would say that if the Lord opens your eyes to see a problem in the church as a young person, He is actually calling you to be a problem solver. And so if you're a young person, yes, we will not be so happy with everything that goes on in the church, but we don't also have to be complainers and sit on the fence. We have to arise and shine in darkness. And if we shine in darkness, we can solve the problem of the church. And so I call on all the young people of our church, from those who are junior youth, from those who are youth to those who are young adults, to arise and shine in local congregations. We shine our district, our presbyteries. And just to add up as an announcement, one of the works we've been able to do this year was that we visited our sister church in EPCG, Togo. And by the grace of God, we will be going to visit them for their national youth camp. And because we are going to visit them, we are now making it international youth camp. And so for the first time in our history as a church, we'll be having an international youth camp first in AAPT, Parliament, hopefully in September. And so letters will go out, and then all those who would want to go, you will have the link to register. And hopefully when we do this camp, we'll now have a collaboration to have in and out camps in the years to come. Also, we'll be having a joint youth synod. Just like we have a joint church synod between the church, we'll have a joint youth synod and have our issues discussed. And also, we'll be having the volunteer exchange program between the sister church.
All right.
So, for people wishing to go to Germany, it's only 4 slots. But now, if we are able to do this with our sister church, we can have our young people going to Togo to volunteer, and we have our young people from Togo having to volunteer.
So I'm looking forward to a day where we would even have a stage of pastors, Well,
I
pastors
pray.
will go there for a
I
year or
pray.
two, come
I
back there
pray.
from here.
But I think it's a possibility.
Yes, yeah, we'll sell this
It's a
idea to
possibility.
General Assembly to
It's
discuss.
a possibility.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
let's all come on board
All right.
and see that this is accomplished.
All right.
There are other ones in the pipeline.
Okay.
We don't have to announce them,
Not
but
the
we are
political
working.
pipeline.
No, not the political one. But
Okay.
hopefully, we are trying to
All
spread our tentacles to other African countries to see how we can have a lot of. Formerly, they were doing it, and it went dead. But now we want to revive them again, and then have our young people also volunteering across the nation. So
All right.
let's arise and shine, and
Thank
shine
you.
in darkness.
Thank you. Thank you very much also for Courage Pamka, the YPO, the Youth Program Officer of the EPCG Ghana, for coming. God bless you for coming.
Thank you, sir. We are much grateful.
Thank you. All right, so we are still here at Dela TV Live. We are on YouTube. Like I said earlier, if you are watching us, I see quite some people watching now. If just let us know, put it in the chat box where you are watching us from, and if you have any questions you would want us to pose to any of our guests here in the studio, please just put it in the chat, and you would be guaranteed that we'll read that in the hearing of our guest, and we'll discuss it duly in our studios here on the TV. This is the discussion segment, the studio discussion, happening alongside the 12th General Assembly of the EP Church Ghana. Today we had the official opening ceremony, and the Thanksgiving service would be on the 16th of August 2026, and that would climax the 12th General Assembly here, happening right now at the premises of the La Cathedral or the La Parish, where we are having the General Assembly here at Hokbuji. Is the group discussions. So that happened immediately, or started immediately after the report presentation by the policy drafting committee. A lot of policies upcoming, and then we would have in the studios the secretary of the policy drafting committee to discuss each and every one of these policies. He would educate us, explain more to us before he takes leave of us. So just tell me, I see people watching now, just tell me where you are watching from. I'll mention your name, and also read it to the rest of the world where you are watching us from. Like we said, I let you in earlier on the address, the welcome address presented by the moderator of the General Assembly, Right Reverend Dr. Lieutenant Colonel Bliss Divine Kofi Agbepo. He gave a 20-page report to the General Assembly gathering at the official opening ceremony. He touched on quite a lot of the things. Just in case you were not here when I read them, let me just quickly run over them. The things that the moderator of the General Assembly spoke about in the morning, contained in this booklet I hold in hand. He spoke about promotion of Christian love, spirituality, discipline, and ethical behavior, especially among church agents. Thereafter, he spoke about the national evangelization mission, and that is to create and own congregations that are multi-ethnic. And in that part of the report, he spoke about using multiple languages in our congregations. And then let me read, let's say the third to last paragraph of that aspect of the report. He said, I rejoice to note that the use of languages other than Ewe or Ewe is steadily increasing in our congregations. During my pastoral visits, I have witnessed translations being offered and ministers preaching in multiple tongues. This is precisely the vision I cherished, and I'm grateful to see it taking shape. What gladdens my heart even more is that our strategic plan intentionally seeks to establish indigenous worship centers where the native languages of the communities we serve will be the dominant languages of worship, complemented by English services. To the glory of God, work in Twi and Kunkuba hymnal is also progressing. All right, so that is part of what the moderator of General Assembly read as part of his welcome address to the 12th General Assembly this morning. Again, he spoke about directing the church to a new level of postmodern ministry by revising and reforming certain aspects of worship to fit postmodern trends. And I'm glad here to note the moderator commending some of the congregations and some of the youth groups and how they are changing, if you like, the face of worship in our congregations. He was full of praise for specifically. So if you are in these congregations, then raise your head or lift your head up, because the moderator praised you a lot today at the official opening ceremony of the 12th General Assembly. He mentioned specifically Dela Praise at the Dela Parish here in Ho. He mentioned Kafui at Mount Sinai in Akosombo, He mentioned the beauty of worship at Lashibi in the Meridian Presbytery again. He spoke about dinner with the psalmist, which happens at the Lawrence Wolf congregation in Tema, and the Trinity praise at Medina. Then finally, he also mentioned the authentic worship experience at the Dansuman congregation or the Dansuman parish. He also said, and others that he did not specifically mention, but this he mentioned in his welcome address. So congregations doing it and congregations that are planning to do so, please put in much effort into this one. Thank you so much for what you do for God and what you do for the EP Church Ghana. Again, he mentioned the promotion of the youth, the use of modern technology to reach out to all people in and out of the church. Here, the moderator acknowledged congregations that are using modern technology to reach out to the world, and also mentioned for those who do not yet know and those who know but have not had any update on it in a while. Let me just read it. He said, it would interest you to note, I'm reading, it will interest you to note that we have secured a radio frequency and have registered it for the EP Church Ghana under the name Bremen Radio. We have fulfilled the necessary obligations in that regard. This will help us to bear witness and educate communities with relevant messages, bearing witness to the universality of the gospel. Indeed, the culture of technology has been embraced at all courts of the church to the glory of God. A special commendation due the La TV for their immense contribution to this online ministry. That is another commendation coming through from the moderator to the La TV crew. Guys, thank you. And then he mentioned some of the challenges that we are likely to face in this regard, especially as regards the use of technology or modern technology in our services. The moderator acknowledged some of the challenges, which includes unauthorized use of the church's name, emblem, and intellectual property, among others. Let me move on to the other things. If you are watching, thank you so much for being here. Share the link with other people so they also join and benefit. This is the to-do discussion happening alongside the 12th General Assembly of the EP Church Ghana, taking place here at the La Parish at Hokoji. The moderator mentioned to pursue financial liberation by investing in viable economic opportunities to boost the church's financial resources. We should have resourceful ways of raising funds for ministry that are not solely dependent on goodwill voluntary money offerings, but money earned from investment gains. That is another thing he mentioned. Now, let me see if I would get this. Okay, let's move on. Maybe I'll read it in due course. He also spoke about the development of up-to-date database that captured the personal details of every member of the church, address, location, occupation, and capacities to make for easier church management and outreach to members. Let me just quickly remind you, this report further served as a wrap of the moderator's, if you like, achievements or activities over the last 6 years in office. He would be leaving office on the 31st, or his tenure ends on the 31st of December 2026, and a new moderator of General Assembly who would be elected during this 12th General Assembly will take office from the 1st of January 2027. So he actually in his report gave us quite a lot of the achievements that he had chalked within the 6 years of his stewardship. So these are some of the things that he mentioned in this report. Again, he spoke about a quest to empower the various ministry wings, especially the children and youth, to do more, as well as devising a model to bridge the generational gap between the youth and other adult wings in the church. And that is what we just discussed with the YPO, or the youth program officer of our church. And again, we touched a bit on the new youth policy of the church, but did not have enough time to go into detail, but we'll make time to do that later during the General Assembly. Moderator called on all to retrieve all documents of properties of the church and improve upon existing retreat centers for spiritual and physical development. Yes, then as far as the indebtedness, tackling our debt situation, let me read that portion. I know that would interest you. All right, I know that will interest you, so we'll come back and I'll read that verbatim just as the moderator read. So let me just take a quick break. We'll take a quick commercial break. We'll come back in a few minutes to continue with the discussions happening here on the grounds delegates and commissioners have just returned from the group discussions. They had gone into groups to discuss some of the policies that were presented to the sitting by the policy drafting committee. So we'll take a few minutes break. When we come back, we'll continue with the discussions of the report of the moderator and possibly interview other people before we bring our proceedings to a close for this evening. I am the Reverend DNA Afram. I'll be here running these interviews right from today up until Sunday. We'll be back after the short break.
I should talk. Oh, my name is Eric Kwame Atieku. Eric Kwame Atieku. Okay.
Reporting back tomorrow.
Are you ready? Okay. Welcome back to the La TV live on YouTube, and this is the 12th General Assembly of the Evangelical Presbyterian Church Ghana, happening here at the EP Church de la Parish here at Okpoji, under the theme "Cleanliness is next to godliness. Keep clean." And just gone by, we had a conversation with the YPO of the church, the Reverend Courage Pamika, and then I told you what was also happening at the grounds, and that is delegates and commissioners went into groups to discuss the report of the policy drafting committee. Right here with us now is the electoral commissioner of the EP Church Ghana, lawyer Eric Kwame Atieku. Lawyer Eric Kwame Atieku is here with us because, like I said earlier, one of the major highlights of the 12th General Assembly would be the election of the moderator of the General Assembly of the EP Church Ghana to happen here on Saturday. We want to understand the process. I have the feeling we may not be able to finish up with these processes and all that we need to know about the election of the new moderator of General Assembly. But I'll begin today and probably continue tomorrow or even Saturday morning before the time of the election. Lawyer Eric Kwame Atieku, you're welcome to the
Thank you, sir.
All right. So far, how far has the process been?
Thank you very much. The process actually started from the 31st December last year by the constitutional provisions when 12 months to the expiration of the term of the sitting moderator, nominations have to be opened for the election of the next moderator. Now, the electoral commissioner is expected to formally invite nomination. It was done on the 31st of December last year. Because the current moderator, the term of the current moderator will expire. So, as the electoral commissioner, I opened the nomination and gave a timeline. Unfortunately, we were not able to go by that timeline. So we postponed the submission of the nominations to the 2nd of July, which has been completed. We were not able to meet the timeline because the pastors were not able to convene and decide on the issues pending the nomination before we met. So, January, we were not able to do it. But in July, 2nd of July, I was present during the retreat of the pastors and received all the nominations. Now, what happens is this. The nominations are, according to the constitutional provision, are to be filed by the district pastors.
Okay.
Now, the district pastors are expected to submit the nominations in consultation with their congregations within the districts. Now, after that, the nominations are supposed to be submitted in a sealed envelope. Now, the sealed envelopes are supposed to be kept by the electoral commissioner until the day of the voting, when the electoral commissioner will open the nomination envelopes. When the envelopes are opened, the first two people or the first two pastors who have the highest nominations will be shortlisted to stand for the election for the position of the moderator. So as of now, as I sit here, I can't tell exactly who among the pastors is going to move to the next stage to be elected as the moderator, because we have not yet opened the envelopes.
Okay.
So that's where we are now.
Okay. So where are these envelopes kept? The ones that were presented by
very interesting. The envelopes are supposed to be in the possession of the electoral commission. Now, because of suspicion, I applied for electoral material from the municipal electoral office. One transparent box and seals. So the day I received the nominations, they were received in this transparent box.
Okay.
Then the box was sealed by seals provided by the electoral commission, the municipal electoral commission. So after now, the transparent box is in my custody, but it was sealed in the presence of the pastors association, and we sealed the box with 5 seals.
Okay.
On the day that we are going to meet, the General Assembly Executive Council and open this box, I will have to confirm to them that the seals have not been broken. Now, I also asked the pastor to take the serial numbers
Of the seal.
of the seals.
Okay.
I am just trying to promote transparency and fairness so that there is no suspicion at the end of the election. So as I now, the box is in my custody.
When you say your custody, what do you mean? Is he in your office? Is he in your
I
house or wherever?
I am keeping it.
All right.
In fact, prior to the receipt of the nomination, some of the pastors suggested that I will keep it in a police station
Okay.
or a bank for safekeeping. I am not supposed to disclose to them where I am keeping it.
Yeah.
Yes, because of my own integrity and the integrity of the election. So fine, I am keeping it at a safe place. On the day of the election, I will bring it out. I will give them the executives of the pastors association the opportunity to observe the box and the seals and to make sure that the serial numbers that were on the 5 seals correspond with the seals that will be on the box. So as of now, the box is with me.
All right. Thank you. Like I said, we still have the Electoral Commission of the EPCG Ghana, lawyer Eric Atiku. He is here with us. We are talking about the elections. And I said earlier, I have the feeling we will not be able to finish this discussion today. We'll continue Saturday in the morning before the elections, somewhere in the afternoon. So, but before we leave, let me ask these other questions. One, it is often said that you don't fix a system that is not broken. The way nominations, it is often said that you don't fix a system that is not broken. That a system that is not broken needs no fix. The way nominations were done in the past, what is wrong with it that we had to change the way the nominations were done this time around?
Fine. You know, when I was elected as the electoral commissioner, I was handed the church constitution. It is true that the constitution, current one, actually is a deviation from what was done in the past. And it is also true that what is in this current constitution has never been practiced.
Okay, so this is the first time we actually
This is the first time we are practicing it in this form. So, previously, the pastors, they will meet and collect the nomination and keep it until the day of the election before they will hand over to the electoral commission. But the current constitution did not say that. So I tried to go by the constitution. Of course, I introduced some administrative procedures and the pastors objected to it. So I had to withdraw those administrative procedures. So you are right when you say that this is not how it was done previously. But I am also going by the constitution that has been handed over to me.
All right. Then maybe the second question I want to ask. So it has actually, like I heard from a lot of people, this new system has disenfranchised in a way, or some ministers who are not district ministers, who work with the ecumenical bodies and all that. What do you personally think about that aspect of the constitution?
I have also noticed that.
Okay.
And unfortunately, I don't have any authority to change what the constitution says. Luckily, after this General Assembly, the 12th General Assembly, there's going to be a constitutional review committee. And what I have experienced in the course of my work in this nomination and election, I'm also going to put it in form of a proposal.
Okay.
Because let's take one example. The synod moderators. Some of them approached me and said, "Oh, where are we? Because we are not a district."
Minister.
You will notice that the senior moderators who are the head of our presbytery don't have much to do in this exercise.
Yeah.
And I don't think it is fair to them.
Okay.
There are other pastors and there are other members of the congregation. They had no role to play. So, yes, we are now starting by the constitution, and we have seen problems associated with it. And I'm sure by the next election, all these problems will be resolved through the constitutional review.
All right. Thank you. And maybe my final question before we leave for today. And I'm just telling you that we'll come again on Saturday to do more, to get more into these things. The district ministers were supposed to do the nomination in consultation with the congregation, their district. Does the constitution tell us the nature of this consultation?
No. The constitution did not tell us the nature of the consultation.
Okay.
In fact, that was one thing that I told the district pastor, that the constitution is silent on the nomination.
Okay.
But then, to give it a semblance of consultation, you are supposed to inform. And the congregation is represented by the congregational section. So it's not the larger congregation that you are supposed to meet. You meet the congregational section. They are the representatives of the congregation. You have a meeting with them. You have the minutes to show that you met them. And the conclusion is this.
All right. I said the last one, but let me pass this one also through before we leave. I saw from the Presbyterian Church of Ghana when they were about nominating people for the moderator, they sent round a list of all qualified ministers to all the congregations. In our case, we didn't see that. What do you think?
In our case, we didn't.
Okay.
And that is one of my major issues with the current.
All right.
For instance, somebody approached me and said, "Oh, electoral commissioner, they are saying that the first two, can we make it three?" And I said, "No."
Okay.
You understand? Now, it is possible that there is somebody who has qualified by our constitution, but may not be interested in becoming the moderator. People may nominate them. You understand? So I think that we should find a way to know interested or qualified people. There should be a level or a point that we could shortlist among the lot who may be qualified to say that these are the eligible people we are going to do it for. Otherwise, the nomination is going to be inundated with unnecessary nominations, unnecessary names, etc., which I think I intend to also find out from Presbyterian Church of Ghana the way they do this.
All right.
That is the only way we learn.
All right.
Because I have a friend among them who told me how they are going about it. And I need to get a blueprint on it so that I can factor it into my proposals to the constitutional review.
All right, thank you very much. So we'll bring this conversation to a close today, and like I promised, on Saturday in the morning we'll take this over again and maybe add a little more flesh to it before the elections in the afternoon. For now, I'll allow lawyer Atieku to take leave of us. He needs to rest. It's been a very long day for all of us here at the Dela. So thank you very much, lawyer, for coming.
Very much.
God bless.
I'm very grateful.
We're grateful to that you have come. Thank you very much. We'll meet again. All right. Thank you very much for still being here. This is the 12th General Assembly of the Evangelical Presbyterian Church, Ghana. It's happening here at the Dela Parish at Hokpoji. We started today with the official opening, and we'll be here up until Sunday where we'll have the Thanksgiving service. Please, if you are here watching us, just let me know quickly where you are watching us from, and if you have any questions, please put that in the chat box and I'll read that to the rest of the world. I was talking, let me just run you through the rest of the things that the moderator spoke about in his welcome address. Then we'll bring proceedings here to a close for today. We'll take it up, God willing, tomorrow and continue with the rest of our conversations. I was talking about the clearing of the debts as the moderator spoke about. Let me see. Okay. So on the page 17 of the welcome address, the moderator said tackling our debt situation as one of the major highlights of his administration. He said, "Beloved in Christ, at my induction ceremony, the transitional acting moderator of the General Assembly, the Reverend Elisha Emmanuel Atu, declared in his sermon, quote, the EP Church is in crisis, unquote. At that moment, I knew the words were not mere rhetoric. Having served before as acting moderator and as a member of the General Assembly Executive Council, I was aware of the challenges. But when I assumed full duty, received the briefings, and saw the figures for myself, the true magnitude of the crisis dawned on me. Indeed, the AP Church Ghana was in crisis. I inherited a debt burden of 7,133,323.21 Ghana cedis. Banks were chasing us. Statutory obligations loomed large. Creditors stood at our doors. Ecumenical partners sent constant reminders of obligations unmet. Our seminarians could not be fed adequately. Even attending Christian Council meetings became a struggle. My team and I had no space to breathe. This was the stock reality. But beloved, hear this testimony. Through steady progress, through hard work, through faithful stewardship, the church had made remarkable strides. The current administration paid a total of 4,09,559.39 Ghana cedis of the debt inherited. In total, a total of 7,067,949.44 being the other debts, membership dues and subscriptions due to partners between 2020 and 2026 have been settled. This brings the total debt related payments by this administration to 11 million plus. The current outstanding balance is 3 million. Now, this part of the report actually confuses me, and I would have loved to have the moderator of General Assembly to just settle this once and for all, and we are doing all we can in our powers to get him to just speak to parts of this report, because the outstanding debts inherited here, as you have in the report, 7 million plus, and it says they paid a total of 11 million. We need to get some clarity there. So he said, beloved, pause and reflect. The total amount of 11 million plus paid as debt could have gone into evangelism, into building of schools, into resourcing presbytery, secretariats, into erecting pavilions for mission fields, into supporting chapel construction and land acquisition, into strengthening agent welfare and salaries, into protecting our boundaries against encroachments, into providing uniforms for underprivileged children, into scholarship for those in need. This is the cost of debt. That is the burden we carried. All right. So this is good news. This is good news by all standards. If we have all these debts cleared by this administration, led by the moderator of the General Assembly, it's good news to all of us. Then he spoke about the anniversary, the 175th anniversary, then integrity. Then he also asked General Assembly Council members to take note of the following. That is mission, evangelization, new presbyteries opened in North America, in the Europe Presbytery. He spoke about the president donating a vehicle to the church, the finance of the church, the Nyanywe Pay or the NP, debt servicing, ecumenical subscriptions, local debts. Then he also ended up with the projects that are ongoing. One, the moderator of General Assembly's official residence renovation and restoration. This has already been done. He spoke about the 175th Conference Center, which is in progress. He spoke about the water projects, the translation of the hymn books or the hymns into Chi and Likpakman. Then he spoke about the church cloth, the church constitution, the rebranding of the headquarters signposts, customized Bibles, and then reminded delegates and commissioners of the other things they would have to deal with at the General Assembly. And that is how the moderator of General Assembly ended his address in the morning during the official opening ceremony. I am the Reverend DNA Afram, and I'll be here with you from now up until Sunday, where we'll bring the proceedings at the General Assembly to a close. For now, we would end proceedings for today. We had the YPO, the Youth Program Officer, who came in to talk about the new restructuring of the youth department of the church. Then we had the electoral commissioner also talking to us about parts of the processes leading up to the election of the moderator of the General Assembly. I promise, God willing, on Saturday in the morning, we would continue that conversation as far as the election of the moderator is concerned. Then we'll be having the election somewhere in the afternoon of the same day. Now, we bring today's proceeding to a close. God willing, tomorrow we will continue this and the General Assembly will continue. See you again tomorrow somewhere in the afternoon and also on Saturday. Please continue to pray into the 12th General Assembly, especially into the election of the moderator of General Assembly. Until we come your way again, it is bye-bye from the La TV. See you tomorrow.